Hey, Justin, second meeting with the Broncos, but from the first one, what do you remember the most about facing the Vic Fangio defense?
It was one of those tough games that we felt like we could have played better. They beat us, and unfortunately, we didn't move the ball as well as we could have. Turned the ball over too many times, so that's on us to correct.
And what do you think some of the adjustments are? Just kind of getting the running game back and productive this time around, or what do you think is the keys to do well against this defense?
I think it's just to execute. We have to have a solid protection plan. We have to have a great run game. We have to be able to push the ball downfield.
And Justin, just looking back at last week, I know you want to move forward, but not having guys like Jalen Guyton and Mike Williams and having to rely on the new guys like Michael Bandy and Maurice French, how tough was that? Just looking back on it.
We believe in those guys, and unfortunately, we didn't come away with the win. But we believe in those guys behind, and they stepped up and they did a great job. And they spent a lot of time out on practice, and I think that's a lot of the stuff that people don't see, but they put in the work. And I know that if they get another shot, they're going to make the most of it.
Thank you, Justin.
Claudia.
Justin, you have to keep winning to make the playoffs. With 2 games left, how is the team handling the pressure? Is the team feeling any pressure from the drive to these playoffs?
I think there's only pressure if you make it. And the guys feel the urgency. They know that these games mean a lot, and it's all about going up there and executing and playing the football that we know that we're capable of. We've had a good week of practice, and it's all about dialing it in these next couple of days and getting ready for Sunday.
And I guess we can say that most of your offensive line looks very healthy right now. How important will that be for those 2 last games?
It's huge. We really believe in those guys. They've done an incredible job all year protecting and blocking and opening up lanes for the run game. And to have some of those guys step back in, it's huge for our offensive line.
Thank you.
Fernando.
Justin, how do you feel like you've adapted to the different schemes that when defense try and disguise their schemes? How do you feel like you've adjusted through that from obviously last year now going into this year? How do you feel like you've been able to change and get better when it comes to when defenses are throwing the disguises at you?
I feel like we've done a great job with that because we see that defense all the time, and we see Derwin James and Nasir Adderley disguising their looks, and I think that's one of the great things about having our camp with our defense of going through that and learning and having to go through those experiences, so that when you do see that in a game, you're better equipped to handle it.
Thank you, Justin.
Cam.
Hey, Justin. What does it mean to your offense to have Mike Williams back available to you guys?
He's an incredibly gifted receiver, and he makes some special plays happen on the outside, and he's a huge part of our offense. And to have a guy like that back, it gives you a sense of security because he's going to go up there and make a play happen.
What would leading the team to the playoffs in your second season mean to you?
I think that's maybe a question for the next couple of weeks. This is all about the Denver Broncos, and we're going to do everything we can to win this game to have a chance to do that. But all our focus has been on the Denver Broncos this week.
Thank you, Justin.
Hopper.
Hey, Justin. Joe mentioned this week that you guys rewatched all of your interceptions from the year on film this week. Just curious, sort of what were your takeaways from going through that this week with Joe and the other guys in the quarterback room?
It's a learning process, and unfortunately, you never want to be able to throw those interceptions, and you never have to want to go through that. But you take a look back at it, and you realize, what, they weren't bad decisions. I was on the right guy, I was on the right throw. Just have to make a better throw or reanalyze, or maybe it's the footwork. But to go back and, as painful as it is, you have to watch those and you have to get better from them.
A couple of them have come off like batted passes. We asked Brandon about it earlier in the week, and he just said it's sort of a product that when you're doing as much quick game, as much RPO, you're getting the ball out quickly in those situations, that it's sort of a product of that. I'm just curious, what's your take on some of the batted passes you've had? Just, do you agree with Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's awfully tough. Quick game, the ball's going to be out quick, and some of the D linemen, they do a good job of getting their hands up. And when the ball's tipped like that, you don't have much control over the ball. And I think that's the unfortunate part, but there's nothing you can do about it. You have to step out in the next play. You have to be back at it. And whether you throw 3 interceptions or 4, you have to go on the next drive and put your team in a position to win. So it's all about how you handle it.
Thanks.
Last one, Joe Reedy.
Justin, with the 3 pick sixes on the year, just going back and looking at those, was there anything in common with those 3 just in analyzing them?
I think they made a good play on it. Unfortunately, I'd like to have all three of those balls back to make a better decision. But, it's the unfortunate part about the NFL, and you have to live with it.
And then just going against Patrick Surtain again, just what did you see from him in the first meeting and in the recent matchups?
Yeah, he's a really good corner. He's done a great job matching up with receivers all year long, and they play a really tough defense. They're really well coached, and so it's on us to watch as much film as we can to have any chance on Sunday.